Hi everyone, it's Diane Gale from the blog sustainableslowliving.com. I'm going to make some simple farmhouse coleslaw today, and I wanted to bring you along and show you how I do it. I don't have an actual recipe for this, it's just something... Oh, mosquitoes. Sorry. It's something that my grandmother made, my mother's mother. And it was always just done by taste, by eye. That's the way that I know to do it. A lot of people don't like coleslaw, and what I found over all of these years making it, which I don't even know. I mean, I started cooking when I was 12 or 13, and I'm 55. And what I found is that it's not that they don't like coleslaw, it's that they don't like the vinegar in it. And people put all kinds of different things in their coleslaw as well. I've seen people put onions in there, I've seen people put celery salt. That's all I can really think of right now, but they do put, this mosquito is going to taunt me a little. I see that right now. He is. But they put all kinds of things in there, and I like mine basic, simple, the way my grandmother made it. She, my grandmother, my mother's mother, had 7 children. My mother was the youngest, and my mother's father, my grandfather, passed away when my mother was 10. So my grandmother, you know, had 7 children. Some of the older children, like my mother's one sister is 20 years older than her. So, you know, she was 30 when her father passed away. But my grandmother was left with still quite a few children on a farm, and her and her sons ran the farm. And the things, I don't have a lot of her recipes, but the few things that I have that she made are fabulous, and I just always think of them as farmhouse food, because that's how she cooked. She cooked to put food on the table for her farm family at the end of long, hard days. So this coleslaw recipe is super simple. Today I am going to make a very small batch of it, but it's all done by eye, and you can certainly make a full batch if you want. I have a head of organic cabbage that I'm going to start with. And normally, if I were doing it for a holiday dinner or something like that, I would shred this whole head. And then I would probably put at least these 2 carrots in it. Again, it'll be by eye. And you'll see, because I'll show you what it looks like in the bowl. But today, I'm just going to take a small portion of this cabbage. More than that, though. And I am going to shred it in the food processor. You can shred it by hand, but it's quick to do in the food processor. One of the things that I love about this coleslaw, this piece might be a little too big of one, is that when it's done in the food processor, it shreds the cabbage and the carrots too real fine. And you want your cabbage to be shredded fine. Cabbage has a bitter taste when it's thick. And so when you shred it nice and fine, you're going to take some of that bitter taste out of it. And it makes all the difference in the world. I have my shredding attachment in the food processor already. So I'm going to go ahead and shred this up. And I will spare you having to listen to the food processor. And I will spare you having to listen to the food processor run the whole time. We'll cut and come back later. Okay, so we've got the cabbage shredded. I'm going to take and put that in my bowl so that I can see about how much I have here. I'll take these big chunks out. No need for those. Now, I don't know if you're like I am, but in my own kitchen, I'm very much hands-on. If it's coming from my kitchen and I'm the one making it, then probably my hands have been in it. That's a true story. Whoops. I always forget that that comes out because in my last food processor it didn't. That's not how it attached. All right. There's going to be cabbage everywhere here because I'm not doing this by the sink, but that's okay. I will clean up when we are no longer together. All right, so we've got a nice bowl of cabbage there, right? Perfect. And I think that if I do just one of these carrots, it's going to be more than enough. You do want a lot of carrot in this because it helps sweeten it. You're going to use sugar to sweeten it as well, but the more carrot you have, the less sugar you need. And those are the only two vegetables you're going to put in it, is just your carrot and your cabbage. You could actually put some red cabbage if you wanted to, and I don't think that that would change it very much, but I've never done that. I have to tell you, I've seen so many people who don't like coleslaw eat this. And one time there was a restaurant that I worked at for 17 years. And I made a batch of this coleslaw around the holidays. Because I always do it for holiday meals. And I do it in the summertime for barbecues. And I brought the batch in to work. And one of the younger girls there, one of the college girls, ate a ton of it. And the next day, she said to me, "Can you make some more of that coleslaw?" She said it was the best coleslaw I've ever had. She said, "I have to have more." And she said, "I want it even though it made me sick." And I said, "What do you mean it made you sick?" I said, "Nobody else got sick. Was there was something wrong with it?" And she said, "Oh, no, there was nothing wrong with it. I'm allergic to carrots." And I said, "Well, you can see the carrots in it." I said, "Why would you eat it if you're allergic to carrots?" Oh my gosh. I've never had coleslaw like that. I don't even care that I got sick. I don't care that I'm allergic to carrots. I just want you to make me another batch. I didn't make another batch, but it just goes to speak for how good the coleslaw is. I guess. Young girls, right? Young people, I guess, sometimes do silly things, but then again, we all do. All right. So with the carrot, I won't throw them away. I'll end up eating them because they're fabulous. And I think this is going to be, there that goes again. This is going to be plenty. Just like that. So, we got our cabbage and our carrots all shredded up. And see, you have a nice amount of carrots. Can you see from the side too? Maybe that helps. But that one big fat carrot to, what, not even half a head, a small head of organic cabbage is just about perfect. So once you have your cabbage and your carrots shredded, the next thing we're going to do is put some pepper in here. If you've been watching any of my videos, you'll notice, or if you've looked at any of my recipes on the blog, you'll notice that I generally use coarse ground black pepper. I don't know how many grinds of pepper there are, but there is a fine grind, which I rarely use. There is a regular grind, which I use occasionally, and there is a coarse grind, which I use a lot, and then there's a butcher's grind, which is very coarse, and I really don't use that much except for in dry rubs. So with this, the fine grind is okay, but just the regular grind pepper is really what you want. And you want to cover the top of your bowl with quite a bit of pepper. Remember, this is your only spice. So if you can see that, I think you can see that, you can get an idea of about how much pepper to put in there. It's a nice amount of pepper in there. And then the next thing that we're going to put in is some sugar. And this is a rare occasion that I use white sugar, but I do. And what I like to do is just take the sugar and coat the top. A nice white coating, almost like a frost, you know, like a winter morning frost. And there, you should be able to see that pretty well too, I think. I hope. It's hard for me to see in that camera over there, but I think you can see that pretty well. So you want like a white frost. And the last thing that we're going to put in is some mayonnaise. If you really don't like mayonnaise and you like Miracle Whip or salad dressing, you can go ahead and use that, but I prefer mayonnaise. And so to me, obviously, mayonnaise makes the dish. I don't know, really, for someone who doesn't like it and prefers the salad dressing. I suppose the salad dressing would be fine. So I'm going to start with that and mix it up and see what we've got. Now, normally when I'm making this, like I said, I make it for barbecues or to take to parties. I make it for holidays. And so normally I'm doing this in a big bowl. And honestly, I just stick my hands in and go at it. It mixes a lot easier than that way. It mixes a lot easier that way. This bowl is actually kind of small for what I'm doing. I guess I originally wasn't going to chop up that much cabbage, but it's alright. We'll get it here. I don't make this nearly as much as my grandmother used to. My grandmother used to make this a lot, and it was one of my dad's favorites. My grandmother loved my dad. Like really loved my dad a lot. Sometimes I think it used to aggravate my mom a little. But she would always make anything that my father liked. And I think this is going to be enough. It certainly is. All right, so I want you to really be able to see it. So I'm going to put some in this dish because this other one is pretty messy at this point. But if you can see it, then you'll know what yours should look like when you're done. And like I said, I'm not going to do a recipe with this because I just don't have one. It's all done by eye. But there we go. That is simple farmhouse coleslaw the way Grandma made it. And it is delicious. This stuff is one of my favorite things. Holidays, barbecues, parties. It's simple and easy. It's delicious. And even people who aren't real fond of coleslaw will love it, because really what they have a problem with is the vinegar. So do it. Make yourself some. You're going to love it. Oh yeah. That's the stuff. I hope you guys try some of this in your own kitchen. As you can see, it's super easy to do. If you do, please let me know how it goes. If you have any tips or tricks for me, or you just want to tell me about your favorite coleslaw, please leave that in the comments down below. And if you're watching this video on YouTube right now, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And don't forget that notification bell so that you get notified every time that I put out a new video. I'd love to have you with me. And it's been great having you with me today. I hope that we get together again real soon.